This conversation would be easier. I would have photographs, videos, all kinds of documentation. There would be hashtags. Hashtag pray for Creighton, hashtag Creighton strong. But we didn't have cell phones or social media in 1998. I didn't take pictures, hardly used email. Ballpark is the best I can do for Miss Ng, if I talk to her at all. The few things that I'm certain of are the things that everybody knows. Megan Main, my roommate, went missing from Alice Cole Hall on January 9th, 1998. Though there were 250 people sleeping in a dorm built for 115 that night, no one saw her leave. It was in the middle of the biggest ice storm in Creighton's history. On the first night, the storm was magical. Our campus was like the atrium of a shopping mall at Christmas. Trees dripping with tinsel-fine icicles, rime-crusted windows, sparkles of moisture under the street lamps. But freezing rain fell for days. Thick layers of ice accumulated on trees, windshields, hydro poles, and wires. People lost their homes, their farms. Livestock froze to death. Nearly all of Creighton's 40,000 households were blacked out. As students in residence, we were ignorant of the devastation. We didn't want the chaos to end. An ice storm was a dream come true for us. Classes were canceled, there was nowhere we had to be, no responsibilities, and we weren't afraid of falling on ice. If anyone was going to die, it would be from drinking. A different sort of blackout. Alice Cole Hall, the dorm where I lived, was the center of the party because we never lost power. People said we had power because we shared a generator with Creighton General Hospital. Maybe that's right, I don't really know. I didn't understand anything about power then. Part 1. Winter 1998. 1. It is practical to put borders around this story, fuzzy as they are. So let's say that the story begins the day we returned to campus from the Christmas holidays, Sunday, January 4th, 1998. My dad drove me to school in the Jaguar he'd bought himself as a retirement gift on Boxing Day. I spent most of the drive pretending to be asleep, not because I didn't like my dad, but because I didn't really know how to sustain a conversation with him for 3 hours. We didn't have a lot of common interests. He was 71, which was older than some of my friends' grandparents. Growing up, he never knew the names of my friends or teachers. He wouldn't, for instance, have known the name Megan Main, even though she was my roommate. At 18, I was self-doubting, self-obsessed, and a follower. But my dad had his own ideas about me, ideas that made me a credit to him. And it was easier to be who he thought I was, easier for both of us. On his desk at home, he kept a single photo of me. It was taken at Swiss Chalet when I was 5, and it captured everything he felt he needed to know. Under the haze of a yellow and brown hanging lamp, I'm contemplating a structure built from creamer cups, sweetener packs, and condiment bottles, my chin resting on my hand. Thoughtful, focused, independent. I was quiet around him because I wasn't prepared to challenge that image. My dad was old, impatient with people, and had an unshakable sense of how things should be. I often worried that I'd say or do something stupid and reveal too much of myself. I was eager to return to school that January. At that point, Regis was home. In August, my parents and I had moved back to Toronto after a 5-year stint in LA. But the new condo felt to me like their space, not mine. I was a college student now, on my own, on to the next thing. I had spent most of the Christmas holidays watching TV while my mother suggested ways to brighten up my north-facing bedroom. I said, "Do whatever you like, I don't really live here." This was also an excuse not to lift a finger. My dad was a Regis alumnus, and he was pleased to see that I'd taken to the school. He'd whistled along to the radio for most of the ride there, but once we arrived, I didn't want him to linger because I didn't want anyone to see his Jag. Although family wealth was common at Regis, it was best to downplay it. When people knew you had a lot of money, you got judged more harshly. There was a girl on my floor whose highly recognizable surname linked her to a major Canadian grocery store chain. Behind her back, her presumed wealth was...